Hi, and welcome to this video on Spline Kit Pro. Today we're going to talk about how do we use a model that wasn't modeled down at z-axis. For example, I have this ship. You can see that it's modeled down its x-axis, or in other words, it's facing down its x-axis. Now, Spline Kit Pro, and kind of Unity in general, expects forward to be the z-axis. Okay, so if we were to add this to a spline, let's just do that. Okay, we attach it to the spline, you can see that it is facing the wrong direction. Okay, Spline Kit Pro takes it and points its z-axis along the spline, right? Which is not what we wanted in this case. So how do we fix that? Okay, let's get it back to where it was here. So go ahead and remove this component. And let's zero this out. This is important. You probably just want to keep everything zeroed out when you do this. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to get this thing rotated the right direction. So looking at this model, what do we need? We need it to point down the z-axis here. And so we need to rotate it 90 degrees around this y-axis. Okay. To do that, we're going to create a new parent object for this guy, which is going to house that rotation. So let's go ahead and create a new game object. And this is important again, zero it out, or at least make sure it's in the same position as your ship so that we don't rotate it around some other axis. And now, again, this order of operations is that we need to take the rotation that we need, which is 90 degrees around the y-axis, and apply it to our new parent game object first. Okay. Like that. And you can see that our game object now has its forward, z, pointing in the same direction as the ship. Okay. Now that we've done that, we can take this cruiser and parent it to the game object. And you can see that the ship is still pointed this way, which is the correct forward for our new game object. Okay. Now, had we done that the other way, let's just start with the fresh one here and create a new game object. Had we done this the other way, again, let's zero this out. Had we taken this and said parent it to this game object first, okay, and then we're like, okay, oh yeah, we needed to rotate it 90 degrees. What actually happens is the ship gets rotated 90 degrees because it was already parented to the game object. Okay, which is not what we want. So again, the order of operations is important. If you do it this way, you might be banging your head thinking, why doesn't this work? So again, let's just make sure that we do it right from the start. We've got that zeroed out. We create a new game object. Make sure it's zeroed out. Rotate it 90 degrees. And then parent it. So our game object Z is pointing down the forward, basically, of this ship. And now the next step is to add it to the spline. To do that, you want to make sure that you add the parent game object to the spline, because the ship is still pointed down its Z-axis, right? We didn't really change that. We just created this game object to follow the spline correctly. So we'll add our animator component here and add it to the spline like that, and you can see it's now pointed in the right direction, and you can use it as you normally would, just like that. Okay. So that's it. That's how you use a model that wasn't modeled down at z-axis. Hope you found this video useful.